overview, but also focus clearly on the detox channel because challenge, because it's a very important aspect of becoming healthy and staying healthy throughout our lives. I want to share with you first a very personal remark on cannabinoids and hemp. I didn't know anything about it. I got my PhD in 1997, so it's already 27 years ago. But, and when I started developing products for this exciting health channel, I didn't know anything about hemp. A lot of people didn't know about hemp because it was illegal, right? And, I started in my last 5 to 10 years studying more about this wonderful plant, the wonderful ingredients, and I got to discover that for my own that hemp is so much more that people think of. When people think about hemp, they think, okay, maybe cannabinoids, maybe CBD, maybe the other terpenes in the products are just one of these herbal extract type of things. It is absolutely not, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you today, as a biochemist, I can tell you the difference between herbal extracts, between things that come from plants that are not part of a system that is built into our body, work differently. We have a system in our body, the ECS, you know about it, the endocannabinoid system, that is designed by our DNA to receive cannabinoids, to do something with it. Same way as vitamins. I told you about my eye research. You need vitamin A, otherwise, you don't see. Same with cannabinoids. You have the ECS, your DNA is coded for it. You need those cannabinoids to make it work. That is very different than your everyday, so to say. I mean, they play an important role, don't get me wrong, but your everyday herbal extract, because you got to hope it does something, right? Because your body is not designed to receive some herbal tea component because it doesn't know it. But our body has a built-in system, the ECS, that works only when cannabinoids are present, either endocannabinoids, the ones we make ourselves, or exocannabinoids or phytocannabinoids, the ones that come from the hemp plant. I want to start with that. That really convinced me a lot that we're talking here about a higher level of health intervention. And, that's been driving me very importantly to join this company to make sure that, we can promote the hemp the cannabinoids, the terpenes, and all the other components from the plant, and make them more widely known to people around us. And fortunately, legislation is helping us. We're getting more relaxed over the world. I live in Europe right now. We're getting more and more acceptance of the necessity of these wonderful phytonutrients in our health. And, that is a great thing. We're not there yet. I mean, there are many countries in the world where it's still kind of, shaky situation. But, in the people in the countries that value science, that know how important it is, that set aside political indifferences, this hemp plant is going to conquer the world. We're still early days, People think, oh, it's old stuff. No, it's not old stuff. We are still developing new, getting to know more and more about these cannabinoids from the hemp plant. Here you see me in a Polish hemp field. This was taken a couple of weeks ago when we had the pleasure of being invited by Canaway to visit our production facilities. And, a lot of people, it's another first thing I have to move aside here. It's not marijuana, right? It's not marijuana. No, hemp is a very different plant. Yes, it belongs to the same botanical family, but it looks very different. It's a very stalky plant, very high plant, very fibrous plant, and it's a very different plant that you would typically associate with marijuana. And it's also grown for very different reasons. A lot of people have used hemp throughout their lives. I mean, this is pictures of modern day pictures, but it's been around for thousands of years. And here you see a house. I've been in a house, upper left corner, which is like a house completely built from hempcrete. In fact, in Poland, we made our own hempcrete blocks. You can take hemp biomass, mix it with chalk, mix it with some water and some other things, and you can make very sturdy, very light, but very fire retardant blocks to build. You see fiber plates, you see clothing, you see rope, you see in the bottom left-hand corner. Did you know that a lot of cars these days actually have hemp panels inside the doors, and it's amazing how people don't know that this plant has been so versatile. Of course, we use the hemp plant for very different reasons. We use it for its health benefits. And a lot of people may have heard for CBD, cannabidiol, right? One of the things. But, that's really sad. Yeah, it's really sad because it's just one of them. The hemp plant is so rich on various cannabinoids that all have their own specific effect in our body. And, that's why if you only know CBD, well, I applaud you. You've done some of the research, but you've forgotten 99.5% of it because there is so much more available today that we know of this plant. And it all has to do with the ECS, the endocannabinoid system. I talked to you already about it. It is a built-in system. Our DNA, and I worked a lot with DNA testing. I know how this is done. I know the coding that DNA provides in our body, and everything we have in our body, from the simple things, so what the color of our eyes to the length of our hair, well, that has to do with the hairdresser too. But from the diseases that we are at risk of developing later in life, this has to do with our DNA, and the ECS is coded in our DNA. Everybody has this code in their DNA, so everybody has an ECS, an endocannabinoid system, and that's why, to me, it is so much more important than just your average dietary supplement. The ECS react with these cannabinoids. Cannabinoids are little molecules, right? I mean, they're structures. CBD is the most well known, but there are many more different forms, and they interact with receptors. And a receptor is a maybe complicated biochemical term for a receiving or a molecule, a receiving protein, enzyme. And the cannabinoids bind to that, as you can see over here, and then exert a signal. And that signal is going to result in some kind of effect in your body. With vitamin A and your eye, it's making you able to see. With vitamin D and your bone, it's be able to build solid, strong bone structures. ECS is a master regulator. It is a mechanism that, for me, stands above all the other regulatory mechanisms, because we have vision, we have brain, we have cardiovascular, we have immune regulation, we have gut health regulation. They're all doing their own thing in their own field, but the ECS stands above that. It's kind of the master regulator, and it provides homeostasis. And homeostasis is a difficult word for life balance. Balance in our daily life, and it's constantly being put under pressure. We have stress in our lives that kicks the homeostasis out of its balance, and the ECS puts it back to where it's belong. We have pain, the balance is even stronger, off balance, so to say. The ECS taking care of that. If we have inflammation, and it goes even further out of balance. And that's what happens all day. And we know all these things like stress, pain, inflammation is happening, excuse me, to so many people in this world. And that is what the ECS is for. It is there to prevent those disbalances and to make sure our body works optimally. I always say our body knows the best what it can do to stay healthy. We just need to be the partner of our body. We need to provide our body with the nutrients, with the phytonutrients that it needs to do what it does best. And we know in the meantime that there is such a thing called clinical endocannabinoid deficiency, which means that I told you a different kind of cannabinoids, ones that we make ourselves. The most example is anandamide. It's a component that we make ourselves to interact with our ECS. But then there's also phytonutrients from the hemp plant, and also from other sources, but the hemp plant is the major source. Dr. Ethan Russo, a very well-known scientist, has discovered a term clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. Very simply stated, if we don't have enough cannabinoids, endo or phytocannabinoids, we may be at risk for developing long-term degenerative health concerns, specifically those related to the immune system and inflammation. Now, that's a very serious thing. We are faced today with a lot of those long-term health concerns. And I always say we need to keep our body into balance because it's going to benefit us so much throughout our entire life. You have age and life quality. This is a typical life curve for a person, and the quality years that you have starts with 0 when you get born. You die when you're, on average in our Western world, 70 to 80. So this is our typical life curve. It starts low, it reaches a maximum point, we're 20, 25, and then slowly we start to, yeah, if you will, decay, like slowly we develop some products, problems, slowly we develop some issues with our health. And, people typically go to a doctor when they're sick at this phase in their life. And that means they're going to be getting some pharmaceuticals, some drugs, and yes, it's going to do something. But, the key message here is take care of yourself when you're young, here, this point in life. Don't wait until you have all these problems developing because of, for example, clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. If you start taking care of your health at this moment, you're going to have so much better preservation of your long-term health. That is what I call the increase in life quality and quantity, and that's why you have so much better, many more years to your quality life. This is my favorite slide that I use for the power of balance, making sure your body regulates your health itself. And it can do so because of a lock and a key. The receptors are the lock. This is built in. This is in our system. This is present throughout our body. And the key is what you need to turn the mechanism and switch it on and make sure it can do what it does best. These cannabinoid receptors are everywhere. They're in all complete body. We have 2 types, receptor 1, receptor 2, and they all do their own things as a master regulator. Receptor number 1 are mainly in the nervous system, and that means they regulate systems and mechanisms in our nervous system, like mood, like sleep, like Alzheimer, depression. But also in the immune system, you have many, many receptor present regulating inflammation and pain. And these are underlying mechanisms that can develop a lot of health concerns later in life. And they're throughout our whole body. Our skin also has a lot of receptors, cannabinoid receptors in them. Our lungs have. I mean, I was talking to a lady in the US just the other day about COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. And, there's a lot of research where you can see that cannabinoid intervention or reacting with receptors can cause a lot of benefits because the ECS, again, is our master regulator, knowing what to do. These phytocannabinoids come from plants, from the hemp plant, right? And as I said in the beginning, if you only know about CBD, good for you, but you're missing out on a lot of information what's available in the hemp plant. About 20% of the hemp plant components that we now know are present in the hemp plant are cannabinoids. CBD, the most well known, but we also have the acid forms, which are precursors of cannabinoids, like CBDA, CBGA, we have CBG, we have CBN, we have CBC, so many more. And, as time progresses, we are developing more and more knowledge. We're discovering more and more benefits of individual cannabinoids. Right now, we know that CBG is mostly involved in regulating mood, happiness. Some people call it the happy cannabinoid. CBN is very well known for sleep improvement. So science is a progressive activity. We learn more and more about it as we invest more dollars into these scientific research. And Canaway is happily and proudly to be involved in that. But there's so many other components in the hemp plant. Here you see many terpenes. Terpenes are the the ingredients that gives hemp a specific characteristic smell. And they also have their own health benefits like antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiety. So you name it. There's so much available, so much information available when it comes to the benefits of the hemp plant. And it's not stopping here. It's going to continue all the time. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the different types of products on the market. First, you have the what we call full spectrum hemp products. And full spectrum hemp plots we have at Canaway is just taking the plant, isolate all the ingredients from it, and put it in a product. A number of our products have everything in it, including THC, which is, some people are scared of that. You don't have to be. We make sure that the ingredient of THC is not causing you any issues with drug testing. But some of our products have it because it's a part of the beneficial effects of the hemp plant. Then we have broad spectrum. Broad spectrum is everything what I just talked about without the THC. In some countries we can't have THC certain level, so we make sure that we have non-detectable levels of THC. It doesn't take away from the benefit of the plant. Only one component is left out, but it still has all the benefits of the cannabinoids working together. And then we have isolates. Isolates are products where only one ingredient is left, CBD. When I see people talking again about the health benefits of CBD, great, but then you're only taking the CBD. You miss out on so much more when it comes to the benefits of the hemp plant. And why do you miss out? Because there is something very important that we call the entourage effect. The entourage effect means that you are having all these ingredients working together. They are not just alone doing their own thing, because if you have the entourage effect, you're working together and you fill up your ECS function so much more effectively and so much more quickly. And that is what you're missing out if you only take CBD. Because if you only take CBD, yes, it has some function, it does something, but filling up the ECS, making it able to do what it does best, takes so much more time than when you actually have the components working together. This is a thing called synergy. We see it all the time in biochemistry. You can have one thing, yes, it does one thing, but if you combine it with the other ingredients, in this case, all the cannabinoids and terpenes from the hemp plant, you're going to get a lot better, a lot faster, a lot more powerful effect. And we even have proof for that. We have proof for that entourage effect. Here's a study from 2019 with Epidiolex on the left, a synthetic cannabinoid, only CBD, so a pure isolate made by people in the lab, not by the plant. Yeah, and we have Pure Gold, one of our products, which is a broad spectrum cannabinoid product which has all the components from the hemp plant in it. They did a study in epileptic children. Now, why epilepsy? We're not an epilepsy company. Don't get me wrong, but epilepsy is one of the health concerns that was first associated with an improvement of the good, well-functioning ECS. Now, they did a study here, compared two groups of children that had Epidiolex as a main treatment and the broad spectrum product. And you can see that, there was an 8-time fold increase in effect if you compare the broad spectrum product with the synthetic isolate product. I'm moving away. You see here, that's disadvantage of staying in front of your slides. But you see on the left side, you see the effect of Epidiolex compared to the effect of the broad spectrum product. 800% more effect, simply because of this working together of the cannabinoids in the system. And as a health benefit as well, you have so much less side effects. In this study, only 7.8% of people with the Pure Gold, with the cannabinoids. I say sorry because it was not done with Pure Gold. Let's be frank here. It was done with a similar broad spectrum product, but it illustrates the concept. 7.8% had side effects, intestinal side effects. Some have some diarrhea, things like that. But 70% of the people with Epidiolex had side effects, simply because you're bombarding your body with a single ingredient that your body has to clean up, your liver mostly. And that's why, a mixture of cannabinoids and terpenes that work through the entourage effect is so much more effective. Our solution, therefore, is, if you have a deficiency of cannabinoids, and let's be frank, everybody has that these days, everybody, because we, as humans, smart as we are, we decided to ban hemp from our daily regimen. Well, we fill those stores up with our own endocannabinoids and phytocannabinoids supplement. And when Valerie texts me during the thing, I always have to see what she says, because it's of course very important. Okay, can't open it right now. So that is the basis of the endocannabinoid system. Now, We are facing in our society, particularly in the Western world, a thing called metabolic crisis. Yeah? We see it everywhere. We hear it all the time. What is it? Metabolic crisis. Well, it is basically a destabilization of our health. Yeah, you can see things like we have low HDL cholesterol. I did research in cholesterol many years ago. You have LDL, the bad cholesterol. You have good cholesterol, the HDL, which protects you for cardiovascular disease. We tend to have lower and lower values. We tend to have a larger waist circumference. We tend to have high fasting blood sugar, high triglycerides, which is fat in the blood, and high blood pressure. These are, I mean, everybody knows people in this category because that is a real epidemic in our society. And that's why we have launched very recently at Canaway a detox challenge. Detox, what is that? Detox, it says taking toxic molecules, minerals, metals out of your body. Makes so much sense. I mean, our body collects all these poisons from our surroundings, and heavy metals are one of the most important ones. I mean, we get it from our drinking water, we get it from our food, we get it from simply breathing. You know, there's a lot of influx in chemicals that don't belong in our body, and our body has difficulty with particularly minerals to heavy metals to get rid of them. You know, our liver is doing a great job with components that it needs to get rid of, but minerals, metal is an issue, and that's why one of the reasons why we are facing, for example, this metabolic crisis, but also other issues with our life, and you know that's why we are challenging. This is a new concept in our company. We've done it a number of years ago, but we're relaunching it because we believe that it's so much important as a basis that everybody should adhere to go through a detox phase. And that's why we have developed this 30-day detox challenge based on our products. Cannabinoids can help with that. Cannabinoids can, providing support, of course, for the ECS, making sure it can balance itself. It can provide support for anti-inflammatory effects, which is an underlying basis for metabolic syndrome as well. Antioxidants, getting rid of free radicals that we get from our surroundings and that are damaging our vital organs and structures, and alleviating stress. Stress is a very important component in our everyday life that we want to get rid of as well. So these four different parts are a reason why cannabinoids may be so important in helping us with detoxification. Now, we have constructed a product pack to help you with that detox challenge. We call it a K Detox 30. Here you see the products. It has a premium hemp oil. It has a turmeric boost product. It has one ginger boost product, two muscadine oils. I'll talk about these products individually. And very importantly, a therapeutic detox soak product. We sell it for $289 with 175 business volume points. And this is the pack that you can get from us right now. You can even sponsor somebody with it. Now, what are the different ingredients? First of all, premium hemp oil. This is, one of the highest concentration cannabinoid products on the market. Pure hemp extract, certainly not an isolate that I talked about. It is the purest thing available on the market. This is your go-to product for advanced needs. Yeah, it's absorbed very well if you put it under your tongue. It's a strong tasting product. You have to be careful with that if you're not used to taking cannabinoids in the beginning, because you'll notice like, this tastes strange. Well, that's why we provide also empty capsules, vegan capsules, to make sure that you can take it also without the strong taste that you may experience in the beginning. And of course, we extract the cannabinoids and ingredients in a advanced way. Very important too in science. You can extract anything by using harsh chemicals, but those typically do not improve the purity and the effectiveness of the different phytonutrients. So that is the first thing. Then we have our turmeric and our ginger boost. These are very old, well-known, coming from Asia, herbal ingredients that each have their own specific detox effects. Turmeric has a component called curcumine. That's what makes it orange, browny orange. And this has been so old knowledge in Asian traditional medicine that it really mitigates heavy metal toxicity in the body. And ginger does it always, has its own anti-inflammatory effect on our body. So these two things together are a very essential part of our detox challenge, which you're going to be taking every day. Here you see all the health benefits that have been proven and listed on healthline.com, where you can always use as a resource. What it does to you, it's anti-inflammatory. It boosts brain-derived neuroprotective factor. It has a heart disease effect, an Alzheimer effect. Those are very important things. It's so old that it's such a lot of information has been collected since it was, because a lot of science has been performed on it. And the same thing for ginger. Ginger, another very traditional old knowledge ingredient that's becoming very popular in the last decades because of its health beneficial effects that you can read about here. And then a very important new thing, what was new to me, maybe not to you, but it was new to me, which is muscadine. Muscadine is a grape that grows in America, and I've done also in my research career a lot of antioxidant research. Antioxidants are components usually from plants. We also make our own again, just like the hemp, same thing. We have own made ingredients and external ingredients, same with antioxidants. They protect our body from damaging free radicals. And another very important effect in our health is self-inflicted damage because of our lifestyle, because of the bad chemicals we breathe in, we eat, we drink, we get into contact with every day. And this muscadine has been shown to be very strong in antioxidant protection. I've done these tests myself. I know how to do them. What kind of chemicals you need in order to determine the antioxidant potential of phytonutrients. And here you see a couple of them that a lot of people know from the market. Noni juice, pomegranate, acai berry, they all have their own value of strongness, of power, of potential, of antioxidant effect. And this muscadine is now leading the list by far. It's 53 times stronger than noni juice. It is 10 times stronger than blueberry. And all different, comparisons are made. And that's just, research evolving. Collecting pure crops from around the world, in this case only from the US, and we can measure how strong they are. And this is a very unique product that we deliver at Kannaway to deal with that important part of a detox challenge as well, which is providing you free radical protection. And then the soak. Soaking has been a traditional way of letting your body let go of heavy metals, right? Your liver, as I said, is in charge of taking away organic molecules like medication or things that don't belong in your body, in your biochemistry. Heavy metals, your liver cannot take away. You need to let slowly, getting it away from your body. And soaking has been traditionally a detox method. This product is very traditionally developed. It's been around, the knowledge that it's in this product has been around there for hundreds of thousands of years. And this information helped us to provide this detox product. You use it in a bathtub, right? Soaking, sitting in a bath, lukewarm water, maybe a little bit hotter, or in a foot bath if you don't have a bath at home. And that's going to be getting your body into a process that it can release those heavy metals. It doesn't happen overnight, of course. I mean, it's a process that you have to repeat on a weekly basis, but you're going to be seeing the benefits. You're going to feel it even, the benefits of those heavy metals departing your body. As I said, you put it in a bathtub, you sit in it once a week, best before you go to bed, that you have your body has time to relax. And if you don't have a bath, then just put it in a foot bath, because your feet are, a very important part where a lot of pressure points, that's from acupuncture also, a well-known information, that's where your body interacts with the outside world very strongly. And that means that through your feet, you can get this detoxification going on if you use a foot bath. So how do you use it? It's a 3 times a day challenge. You start in the morning with your premium hemp oil applicator. You take 1 capsule of turmeric and ginger to boost up the natural detox effect, and then and also a dropper of muscadine. You know, muscadine goes through the whole day because that is a constant need of your body to make sure you don't have free radical damage. The midday, you can take again muscadine, turmeric, and ginger. In the evening, you do the same thing. Yeah. And then every week you do one of these detoxes. You can do it more often, but you know, once a week is plenty to do it. And you do it just before you go to bed. That is our detox challenge that we've launched, and a lot of people have signed up for it. And we are expecting, we have a special Facebook channel where we actually see and get stories of people and their personal experiences with how detoxing has helped them for improving their health. Now, that is what I mean. We also have the calendar. We have some tools available to make it sure that you keep into that rhythm. But we also have many other things. So Canaway is a 10-year-old company. You know, we have still classical products that everybody by now knows. A lot of people on this call have used or still using these products. People are getting into the habit of using more and more cannabinoids. Here you see our 5 classics. Salve, a topical cannabinoid and terpene product. Pure Gold, our bestseller throughout the world. Pure CBG, I told you, a specific cannabinoid that interacts with your mood and your happiness. And then premium hemp oil, which is the purest extract from the plant with everything in it, nothing processed. And CBN, a very more and more researched sleep aid in our daily routine because it interacts with our circadian rhythm. And then on the bottom left, our hemp oil and our premium hemp oil, gold, those are different strengths, applicators. And that is a thick paste, completely pure hemp extract, very strong. But that is people have high demands that have gotten used to cannabinoid use on a daily basis, switch to because they feel the benefits. They want to get more of it. They want to get more pure, powerful hemp extract components, and they are using those products on a daily basis. These are our classics. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of details about it because we don't have the time for it. We'll do it another time. But what's very important to me as a scientist is that we know what we sell. We do triple lab testing. That is not just a joke. That is essential. And this sets us apart from the crap that you can buy around the corner when it comes to CBD. This makes sure that we know what's in the bottle and that you are sure about that. We do it at 3 different phases of the production. We do it at the biomass. When the stuff comes from the field, when the crop is there, we test what's in it. Also, what's not in it, which is very important. If we want to do a heavy metal detoxification, you got to make sure there are no heavy metals on the field, right? Because that would counteract its whole benefit. So we tested there. Then we tested in the extraction facility. Seen it with my own eyes a couple of weeks ago in Poland. Valerie is coming to Poland next week, and we're going to see it again. How we are actually testing and producing our own product. And then we do it in the final product when the bottle is filled, when we are ready to ship it to the customer. We test the levels of all the antioxidants, of terpenes, and we test the absence of things we don't want to have in it. And you can see that. You can see it on our website. If you go to our shop, you can always click the testing reports. Not done by us, done by independent research laboratories. Because we have such a high quality testing and such a high expectation of our quality, we're certified. We're certified by, U.S. Hemp Authority. We are certified by AHA, which is another organization for hemp, and we are in the the prescribers' digital reference. I always say physicians' digital reference because that's what it was called 10 years ago. But to the prescribers' digital reference, get this, we are in there. This is the book, the Bible, if you want to say, about prescription, mostly prescription medication. Doctors use this to see what they can use for their treatment of their patients. We're in there. One of the very few natural products, the only hemp extract broad spectrum cannabinoid product that's in the prescriber's digital reference. That is a uniqueness. That certifies quality. That certifies effectiveness for you, yourself, your family, your friends, and your customers. Our basis for creating these products is, we are always organic. We don't want to grow with GMO products. We are certified not doing that. We have this triple lab testing, and we want to make sure that we have advanced extraction methods. As I said, you don't want to use harsh chemicals, too high temperature, things that would only potentially destroy the health benefits that you're giving to your own body. So I'm not going to go through all the details here of the different products, but I want to make sure that you know that we know what we're talking about. We have set this industry on its legs. We were the creators of the cannabinoid industry because it didn't exist before. It didn't exist before Canaway started. We've invented the processes of extraction, of testing, of doing clinical studies to prove that what we are selling to you around the world, in fact, in many countries now over the last 10 years, are providing effects that you want to have. Pure Gold, our bestseller, all the cannabinoids, all the terpenes in it, and it helps you so much with the immune system, your mood, your brain health, protects your neurosystem. And then, as I told you, these applicators, which are very strong, thick pastes. It also has all the ingredients in it that you would have. We have a premium hemp oil, which contains also the acid forms, the precursors, which have their own specific things. Now, some people may think, what do I take? What do I start with? Well, if you've never taken cannabinoids before, a very good start is Pure Gold and premium hemp oil. As premium hemp oil is going to awaken your ECS, your endocannabinoid system. It's been dormant. It's been dormant because you haven't taken cannabinoids before. You want to wake it up. You do that with premium hemp oil, and then the cannabinoids and the terpenes from Pure Gold is going to be your daily regimen. That's the way you start. And as you get more used and more acquainted with cannabinoids in your system, you may switch over to the applicators, the heavy users, so to say, the people that really have high demands on their cannabinoid ECS improvement. Or you take CBG if you want to have a specific mood altering effect, or CBN if you want to improve your sleep, or a combination of all. I take 3 products every day to make sure I target my cannabinoid effect in all these different biochemical areas of my body. And I want to show you one more thing, and that is our topical products. As I said, cannabinoid receptors are everywhere, not just inside, not just in the brain or in your spine. No, they are also in your skin. And we have a very famous product, Salve, which you see top there, which is a topical broad spectrum cannabinoid ingredient, which is you rub on sore spots. Yeah, it's an inflammation reduction product. It is a pain reduction product, and we just launched a new one. Here you see Salve, the new one, where we tripled. Can you imagine? Tripled the cannabinoid content compared to the older Salve that we have, which was already in itself a very successful product. But that's how science evolves. We can give you more, we can have a faster effects, and that's why the new Salve has just been on the market. And you also see pain relief, roll-on product, and Hydrolux on the bottom, which have their own specific benefits because they also have components in it like CBG, not just CBD. And we also believe very strongly in these topical products because that is a very important part of your overall health as well. These are maybe not daily products, although I use Hydrolux every day, which is a body lotion. But Salve is usually used when you are in need. Yeah, when you have a sore spot, when you come back from your sport activity, for example, and you have muscle soreness. That's when you rub this in, and that's when you have immediately effects of the cannabinoid anti-inflammatory in your body. So I'm getting to the end. I'm taking already too much time. Valerie's going to be mad at me, but that's why I'm so, I love talking about this. I started off in all these phytonutrients and research, and yes, they're all important, but I have found out cannabinoids, terpenes from the hemp plant are the key to let our body do what it does best, which is regulating our health. And we have a system in our body, the ECS, that is not there for no reason. Our body needs these cannabinoids to switch the ECS on and make sure that we are dealing with our health on a daily basis. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Peter. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. It was fabulous.